Conan, Sona and I had an interview with the BBC the other day about the podcast. And
that blows my mind that the BBC is aware that we have a podcast.
That's right.
You'd think they'd have... I mean, they're going through Brexit. Shouldn't they be focused? Their country is literally their parliamentary system, which has survived like 800 years, is crumbling, and they're like, "By Jove, we've got to speak to Gawley and Sona."
Oh my God!
No, that wasn't a put down.
No, but your British accent is ridiculous.
Oh, I don't think it's ridiculous.
Are you having a stroke?
Oh, I think maybe I'm having a stroke. I am.
Bad.
It's the posh travelling knife, the travelling knife for me. First cabin, captain's quarters, real company. I said, Paul, out, starboard, home, posh with the capital P. O-S-H, posh. Oh, Mary Poppins.
Oh, no.
I blacked out. What happened? I just woke up.
Well, this is apropos of what they were saying.
This room smells like fish and chips. What happened?
The host called Sona and me the matriarch and patriarch of this podcast, and we're wrangling you as the child.
They did a whole psychological profile of the show?
Kind of, would you say?
I think so. They also said that that Matt and I are your consistent friends, and you're constantly trying to upgrade your friends with these celebrities. No. Conan O'Brien just spilled a bottle of water.
He just Freudian spilled.
All over.
Maybe I did it intentionally.
People.
You just called me a troublesome child.
Yeah, yes. No kidding.
So
you
I threw water on the table.
Water.
So wait, what did the BBC say?
Originally, he said that you were kind of like the ruler, but then he said the more he listened that Sona and I were like the matriarch and the patriarch wrangling you as the child.
Right. Yes.
So you're my parents, and I'm the kid.
I think petulant child.
Yes.
Petulant child.
With like severe ADHD.
Yeah.
And you're hyperactive and
but
needy.
Maybe I'm Harry Potter, which means you two die. And then
what a leap.
Then I am great powers are visited upon me. Great abilities. And then
from us.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're following the lore, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a scar?
Yeah. That's why I have the giant pompadour. I comb it forward to hide the scar. But yeah, so it's possible.
Do you think sometimes you are hard to rein in, just in general, even in normal life when we are working?
And there's only one answer to that.
Yeah. Well, yes. I think it's difficult when someone's given so much creativity.
Okay.
When someone's given so many powers, it's difficult. It's hard. I don't know what it's like for you two.
Would you say sometimes when I'm like going through things you have to do during the day, you're just doing bits and looking at me funny, a lot of bits. And you're like putting your glasses askew, and you're like,
I am performing 24/7.
Yes,
and you are constantly looking at me like, why do I have to work for this man? But you have to admit, I'm entertaining occasionally.
You are. But it is a lot of like, I am actually trying to do work and you're making it more difficult.
Yes.
With bits.
Yes, I behave foolishly. Mm-hmm. I could probably do a better job of being an adult. Now, there are times where I'm trying to do work and you're busy watching episodes of Barry.
Mommy needs her me time.
No, yeah. I need my me time.
And she's drinking a giant glass of white wine at her desk at 11 o'clock in the morning. And then you, Gorley.
Yeah.
You know what? I feel like the appropriate thing
you're the dad here?
I feel like actually you're a single mother with a kid who just eats Fruit Loops all day. And I'm the stepdad that came in late and don't know how much I can discipline.
Right. And you're sort of you're a cartoonist for... You write like a Cathy cartoon for the local paper.
I don't even illustrate it. I just write it.
No, you write it. You're not good enough. You tried to illustrate it, but you're not good enough. So you just write stuff like, this yogurt doesn't have any fruit on the bottom. And then someone else has to draw it. And so you make very little off these cartoons.
Yeah, I'm kind of living off you guys.
Yeah. And then you found out, you moved in on Sona when you found out that she made money when her first husband was killed in that yak attack.
Yeah, and that her child is like a child actor. She's a stage mom and embezzles his
she
money.
has a 6'4" son with a shock of red hair who's got his own late night show and he's making some bank. So you moved in and all you have to do is every now and then you say like, well, I got to go think of the next Cathy cartoon.
Can I have a little money?
Yeah. And you're like, so you don't draw them? No, Eric draws them. I'm not good enough to draw them. But I just thought of a new one. Cathy gets on the scale and she's like, oh boy. Why does my scale have to be so honest? So I'm calling Eric to see if he can draw it.
Eric's only taking my phone calls sporadically.
Eric's starting to write them too, and they're pretty good. Oh, well.
This explains your hostility to Matt a lot too.
Yeah.
Just you lashing out at him a lot sometimes.
I don't mean to lash out at you, Matt. I really do like you. You do a very good job. I'm disarmed, are we?
I know what to think.
No. You do a very good job. You've made this podcast a success. You're very obviously well known in this field because every time someone comes in to talk to me, all I hear is, oh my God, it's Matt Gorley. He did Cinnamon Hour with Mr. Chop Chop. What? It was on the Lubadub Network. But anyway, I know that you're a big deal in this sphere that I didn't even know existed.
But that's like being known in the podcasting world is like being known in third world soap opera world.
Sincerely, this all started with me complimenting you, and then you goaded me into insulting you again.
It's my fault?
It is your fault, and you'll be punished for it. You are an excellent producer and a good man and a fine foil on this show. I
like doing it.
I mean you no ill will.
I mean you none. And Stepdaddy's going out to the garage for a couple hours.
I'm going to write another cartoon. Good. I'm glad that you guys talked to the BBC.
Yeah, and the show is called Podcast Radio Hour on BBC4, the radio channel.
It blows my mind that we sit in here and we put no thought into this thing, and now people in a country I respect are listening to it.
The same network that brings you In Our Time with Melvin Bragg, like one of the brainiest shows ever created, is concerned with.
I don't know what that was.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know that? You would love this show.
What is it?
It's called In Our Time with Melvin Bragg.
Is it a podcast?
And no, it's a radio show. Oh, you would die. You would love it.
Oh, you'd like that.
Yeah.
I see your little plot. Can I ask you a question? Do podcast people like yourself have hostility towards conventional radio?
Not at all. That's like the forefather. I loved radio.
Yeah, but I bet you're real snobby about it, though, right? Like, it's not a podcast. You can't download it.
He really wants there to be beef between podcasts and radio.
I would love it if there was a real gang rivalry between regular old-fashioned radio.
Do you have a thing against vaudeville?
Yes.
You do?
What?
I do. I hate vaudevillians with their juggling and their capering about. I can't stand vaudeville, and I'm glad that we crushed it. We successsually destroyed vaudeville.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Usurpers.
Yeah.
I have no ill will towards radio. Also, it's dead now anyway, so there's nothing to worry about.
So you did put the knife in, didn't you?
Yeah.
Was that all you had to say about the BBC?
I think so. Anything else?
We had a great time. Should we plug it?
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, they said that they're going to start their podcast on May 31st.
It's a podcast about podcasts.
Yeah.
Right? Or it's a radio show about podcasts.
Wait a minute.
Podcast,
there are podcasts about podcasts?
Oh, yeah. There's probably podcasts about podcasts.
Right. You know what no one's doing anymore?
What?
No one's growing crops.
No. But there's a podcast about
no one's making
crops.
Food or growing crops. Yeah. And I think we're all going to starve in about 2 years because everyone's going to be in their basement going, well, I'm here with Matt Gorley. This is the snake that ate its tail. With me, Bill Sibblesdee.
All right, I got to go.
Yeah.
Murderer.
Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend with Sonam Movsesian and Conan O'Brien as himself.